Let me just intervene real quickly. My name's Dan. I'm supposed to moderate the next panel, but I could see that we're running a little late, and maybe what we ought to do is just continue with the end of this panel. And we are discussing in this panel the next step and how to move ahead. And maybe what we could do is just carry on with this panel a little bit further, maybe even 15, 20, 25 minutes maximum, because I know I see people leaving and it's hot in here, etc. And wrap it up with this continuation of this conversation, Fiona, if that's okay with you, rather than break up and try to get into the discussion of the next step, what's next for the next 30 years of Midnight Notes, or 10 years, or 5 years, or 5 days, if that's okay with folks.
I don't think that's a good idea.
No, I agree that it's not a good idea.
No, we need the maximum amount of time to talk about the future.
Yeah.
We're stopping this panel now, and as interesting as it is,
maybe there's a couple of questions. There was a question there. Maybe we can take a couple of questions. At least set the limit. We can take another 5-10 minutes. They set the question.
People who haven't spoken too.
Yeah, I'd like to just make a comment.
Sure. So let's do that. 10 minutes? Can we do that? And then
let's finish the question.
Well, I think what I disagree about what you said is that the common and the culture will come together. And is that what you were saying? Because, the common comes out, or the culture comes out of the
common creates culture.
The common creates the culture.
And of course, it also presupposes a particular
So,
culture.
I think the challenge that was over there is the recognizing that black and whites in this country have two different cultures. So then, what happens then? That's, I guess, what I'm saying. It's like,
right.
White struggles.
Right. What happened through the commoning between black and white? I mean, that's what. I mean, the question is the culture is what emerges out of particular commoning in relation to the others. The question, the political issues we have that we've been discussing, bridges and all that, is a commoning which goes beyond our own communities. And obviously this is what informed the encuentros, the many yeses. The question of the articulation of the many yeses means the creation of a commoning together, which in a sense is the only way to create a common culture. There is no other way to create a common culture beside a commoning, a process of commoning, and yeah.
said we wanted a common culture.
No, well, doesn't mean that this is common culture is the common culture. This is no.
That's one thing that I said, that there are commoners within commons. And these are the commoners that exactly what's interesting with Dalits, the word Dalit means broken people. What's very interesting is that in India we're moving towards a race perspective on caste, which has been resisted all these years, okay, and now finally kind of moving, we're kind of daring to name it as a form of racism. So, for the reverse move to happen over here, that you're, caste, Dalitizing. I'll put it this way. I mean, I'm a Brahmin. I'm not a Dalit. I belong to the historical class of. Not class, but caste of oppressors. They belong within a very lower class. That's a very different. But the thing is that in India you hear about formerly untouchables, but you never hear of former Brahmins. So you hear of the, so it's just, I don't know if I made a useful contribution, but what we need more of is a more greater Dalitization. Of our culture. How does that relate to common? That's what I know. Certainly very kind of thoughtful. The thing is that we have a very kind of refined. There's a lot of work that's done on caste. One thing about caste in India is that. Historically, if you take the works of Nicholas Dirks, etc., this is kind of caste comes to become standardized during colonial times. It's a construct. It has its textual roots, but that text was never referred to as rigorously as it was during colonial times. So, not taking away the fact that these people are historically marginalized groups. So I'll leave it at that. Basically, this thing of Dalitization is what I.
Did you say something?
No, let's move on to
Yeah.
the next one.
So
yeah.
now we're gonna switch.
Yeah.
So, thank you.